Hello to all of my peeps. It's so good to see you here today. From my chair, episode 105. This is Sunday evening. I don't know, 5:15-ish. And June 26th. We've just finished a great day at church. Fantastic day at church. I'm so excited. We are in the auditorium of the Capital City Baptist Church. And more specifically, we're in the sound booth. We have spent
so much
a
time
whole lot of time right here in the sound booth. So the drama presentation, we'll talk about that in a little bit. And we just like, you know what, let's just go there.
Kind of our second home right
It
now.
is. It has been our second home for the last, week and a half?
Yeah,
pretty much. The last week and a half.
There was one day this week, we spent like 7 hours in
Yes,
here.
about 7 hours right here, and we'll get to all that, but it's so good to see you here, and thanks for joining us again for week two of my Papua New Guinea debrief. For those of you that are new, I'm in Papua New Guinea right now with my dearest friend, missionary Sarah Glover. We've had such a good time together.
Yeah, it's been an amazing week. I loved it actually. And last week we recorded, and I know I asked you some general debrief questions about jet lag and food and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And those were good. Those are good things to know, right?
Yes, it was so much fun.
Bringing you into the world, bringing you and the people who are watching into the world that we're living in right now. This week we might go a little deeper with some of our questions.
Okay,
are you ready?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
First of all, let's update the week.
Yeah. Tell me about the week. Tell me what's been happening.
So Monday through Thursday of this week, Sarah very graciously gave me her Bible class, her 6th grade Bible class, and we had such a good time.
And I would say I gave my 6th grade Bible class to you.
That's true.
It worked both ways.
It did. It worked both ways. But we talked about, we said, let's go fishing. And so the lessons were all themed about fishing. I brought a fishing pole and some little things from the States to help them remember. So Monday was stinky fish. Talked about stinky fish, about the fish in the Nile River that stank. And we talked about having stinky words and stinky attitudes. So we talked about that for a while. Then Tuesday,
gave all the kids Swedish fish and got them hyper.
Yes, I got them hyper on Swedish fish. That was funny.
Yes.
The other teachers weren't liking me too much then. That was funny though. Then Tuesday, a sick fish. We talked about Jonah and the whale. And we talked about obedience, a lot about obedience. Well, not just Jonah being obedient, but it was about the fish, that whale being obedient to do what God told him to do, basically. Then Wednesday, we talked about superfish and brought some chocolate coins. And we talked about Peter and the fish that had the coin in its mouth and how to be the best fish in the sea. We had a good time with that, a very good time with that. And then,
as a matter of fact, I remember that day, as they were leaving, they had to leave to go down to drama club and things, and you had tried to get across to them the point that day that they are super fit, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's
and so
great.
that day before they left, they had to come to me and they had to show me that they were packed up and ready to go. And then I was like, okay, as you leave, you can't leave until you tell me, I am super fish.
And I did. She did before she left. Before they walked out of the door. All right, what are you supposed to say? I am super fish. I am a super fish. I love that. And then we reminded them at the drama and stuff. It was really cool. Yeah. And then Thursday we talked about the 2 fish that the lad brought to Jesus and how those were surrendered fish. And basically just telling them to, encouraging them to give their lives to God, to do with them what he wants for their lives. So we went fishing. It was so much fun. They were so attentive, such amazing children, amazing students. I've posted some of their pictures on Instagram and Facebook, so check them out sometime. It's good. I'm missing one of them in that picture, but we're all there. And then I was able to teach every class, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, the song from Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
Oh, I love that. That was like the high points of their day.
It was
coming in and you teaching them that song.
Well, and then when they came in, I gave them a chance to ask questions and things like that, and I showed some pictures of my family and where my hunk of burning love, and my mom, my dad, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, and they were just loving that. And then I would teach them the song, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
And it was neat because different times then throughout the day, as they'd be not in the classroom, but going back and forth between lunch or things, I'd hear different classes are randomly singing that song.
I know.
Which was cool.
We went outside, and some of the girls were on the swing. They're like, Miss Tabitha, swing us. And so I started swinging, and this just randomly. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. And I was like, Wow, how cool is that?
Well, I mean, that's what you want to do. You want to hide God's word in the hearts of them, and music is a great way to do it.
It's a fantastic way to do it, to memorize scripture and things. So that was so much fun. We had a lot of fun. And then another update of the week is the SPIA Drama Club. They're
Which I know a lot of your viewers were praying for that because we mentioned that last week.
Yes, we did mention that last week. And I've been posting things about it and all that, and a new song.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was. Miss Hannah
phenomenal.
Allen. I need to post a picture of her. We took a really good picture together today. I should post that so that you can see her. It was a privilege.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's as we got more involved into it, and just realizing the message that was in it, it was like, wow, what a privilege to get to be involved.
Oh,
in
absolutely,
something
absolutely.
Like this. It was amazing.
And the reason why we're here, right where we are, is the sound booth. We didn't deal with the sound. We did the lights.
The lights were ours.
Yes, the lights were
When
ours.
I first signed up for lights, I thought, I'll just flip a couple of switches. I know how to do that. And then I realized, they have a whole board and things that nobody's used yet except for me.
Yeah,
So,
it was pretty intense.
It was.
There's
we were a great team.
Red, blue, and green back there. I don't know if you can see them, but that was part of it all. And we have made 3x5 cards about when she was supposed to study the script. I have no clue what the scenes were and I never got to see it really because we're staring at the script. I was staring at the script for the next light change.
Yes.
But it was such a
It was so
privilege.
fun to do it together, and I think about those YouTube lessons you did. I guess it was last year and earlier this year on the different Enneagram numbers and the things like
Boxes,
that.
yes.
Those different boxes, and
Yeah.
we're both one, so it worked well for us to do something
like
that.
perfection. We wanted perfection.
Yeah.
And so that worked. It was such a privilege and to do the lighting and stuff for it, just to serving Christ in a different way. You know, it's not all the time, singing a special in church. Sometimes it's doing what Miss Hannah needs to be done to put lights on students for a play. So.
And I think, as we talked about this a little bit today, you and I, and then you and I and Becky a little bit, nothing that God does is by accident.
True.
And so I think
True.
there's so much backstory to all of that saying, but God, I think one of the reasons God sent you all here was to be specifically involved in this drama.
Yeah.
Hannah had planned to bring a production team with her, and they weren't able to come, and so she was stuck with a whole bunch of teachers. And so, but it went.
Who loved what they were doing.
Yes.
We weren't trained or anything. It's just who loved what they were doing.
And it was such a solid gospel presentation.
Yeah, it
we
was.
did the show 5 times. We did it for the last time today for the church here.
Yeah.
And it's hard to count how many people were here, but I would say a low estimate was that. Sorry, there's a fly in my eye. But a low estimate would be that there were 500 different people.
I would say there
that
were
got to come
500, and over the
watch
last
it.
five different times, five different showings.
And even, so many people, but people too that we were specifically praying for.
Right.
And
Heard the
are
gospel.
specifically praying for who are not believers yet.
Right.
Just to come and see it presented so clearly through
It
that.
was fantastic. Thank you for praying. Continue to pray if you would. Lots of gospel seeds were sown in the last
absolutely.
5 days, and we've seen fruit already, even in the students, and even with us. Just being encouraged by it. But keep praying if you would. We would appreciate
The music, I think one of the things I was thinking about yesterday, the music in the drama was so tremendous, and I found myself in the last week and a half because I've heard the drama how many times now.
Oh, I tell you,
the music is continually running through my mind. That's a good thing. I hope it stays there. So.
it was really good.
So that was good. Any other highlights from the week?
All right, so highlights.
Before I go deep with this.
Highlights from we're standing, by the way. We're not sitting. This was the best place to be, so that we're here. So we're a little bit different, and that's fine. So some high points for us. Last Sunday night, I just loved it. We went into Brother John Allen and Miss Lena Allen's house. They invited the whole campus over, and we sat in their living room, and she made us all lasagna, all the teachers and staff, and big living room. We all sat around, and they sang pigeon songs.
And let me pause there for a second, just to say that we don't generally have services here on Sunday nights.
Right.
Mostly because of security, and we're so far out of the city.
Right.
So those on campus try to get together in some form.
Yeah.
But we don't normally have what you would think of as a typical Sunday night service.
True. We do have Wednesday night though. But yeah, we sang, and they did some in English, and they were on the screen. They threw a computer program and just pigeon songs. The
Trade language.
yes, the trade language here. Thank you. And I was just like, the Holy Spirit decided just to pull up a chair and sit down, even in the living room as we were singing praise to God in a totally different language. And that was a highlight for me. The lasagna was a highlight for me too. But those songs and singing.
I think one of the things I enjoyed about that night was translating them for you. I was
Yeah,
sitting
she
by
did.
you,
She did. She was
and
sitting.
just
Yeah.
it's a different language, so the words, the tunes were the same a lot,
Yep.
but the words and sometimes the depth of the words was different
I know.
than English.
I know. So it would, when they would sing it, and then right after they would sing a phrase, she'd whisper in my ear what it meant. Tears. Oh my goodness, because it's just such a deep, rich language, and I had such a good time. That was a highlight for me. And then on Wednesday night we got to have pizza.
Yes,
Pizza. Yes.
Actually, I haven't had pizza. I haven't had any quite in a while.
Oh my goodness. Well, me neither. And I got to have a Sprite. I know. We just take for granted the little things, but it was one a tall Sprite. And I was so excited, oh my goodness, to get a Sprite. Hadn't had carbonation in probably 9 or 10 days, and it was all water. Everything's water.
And chai tea, lots of chai tea.
Yes, chai tea too. But so that was a highlight for me. I know, as random as it is, as weird as it is, I loved it. Then another highlight, I love it. Several of the students got saved last week, and
I think there's 5 last week.
yeah, I think so. But then this week, just randomly, Tuesday? Was it Tuesday?
Wednesday, maybe.
Wednesday. Tuesday or Wednesday, just randomly. Two of the 6th grade girls, grade 6 girls, they just walked up to me, different times, different spaces of the day, and they're like, we don't know for sure we're on our way to heaven. And so I had a wonderful privilege to lead them to Christ.
And that hadn't been the focus of the lessons,
No, it
really.
wasn't the focus at
we bring
all.
the gospel into everything,
Right.
but it wasn't like it had been a strong gospel presentation that
Right.
morning and things. But
The Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
He never stops working, does he? He never stops working. And then yesterday we got to go shopping. So excited! Got me a new Papua New Guinea shirt. I'm sporting it for you today. Proud of it. So proud of it. Sarah helped me pick it out because I had such a hard time picking it up. But it's a nice place. It's a nice mall. I think the Australians built it or something.
yeah. And we took her out to eat to the fancy place. We went to a place and it's called the Dirty Kitchen.
The Dirty Kitchen, yeah, I was really skeptical about that. I'm like, seriously, I'm not sure if I want to go in here or whatever. And it was really good. We had chicken tacos or something.
Yeah, it's like the only tacos in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, I know.
We
They were
just
so
recently found
good.
them.
They were
And
so delicious.
Yeah.
We've had such a good week. So those were the highlights of them. So anyhow, you've got
All
some
right,
questions.
I've got
for
some
me.
questions for
Okay,
you.
questions.
I love your stories, but I want you to answer some questions.
Okay,
too.
I'll answer some questions.
And I know you'll tell more stories while you answer
I know,
questions.
I
right?
like stories. I
That's
like
cool, I
stories.
like it.
Yes, I do.
So my first question, I don't have a whole lot of questions for
Okay,
you today.
all right, that's
I'll be
good.
kind to you today.
Okay,
all right?
good.
But my first question would be this: you've been here about 15 days?
I think
now,
so. I think
or
it's 15 days.
I said the other night, it seems like every day is like a gift from God, and we just open the box and then we use the box
I
up
know,
and we do
yeah.
like everything.
Then we suck in the air that's in the box. Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, this day has to end so that we can do tomorrow.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's like,
but
we
we're
have to go to
definitely-
bed eventually.
We're definitely getting it all out of each day
Yeah,
that
we're
we can.
sucking it all up.
But since you've been here, is there anything that maybe that you didn't expect or that has surprised you about life here in Papua New Guinea, life here in this ministry, or what we're doing and things? Is there anything that surprised you?
Okay, so yeah, some things have surprised me. You ready? Okay, so first of all, tonight has surprised me a lot because we were supposed to go to a church. What's it called?
In the city.
Yeah, in the
Baptist
city,
Church.
in the city. And all of a sudden, Pastor Matt, he texts us and is like, nobody leave the campus tonight. And we're like, okay. And then it's like, she's like, there's a rugby game. And I'm like, a rugby
get
game?
this.
But wait, yeah, the rugby game was in Australia. It has nothing to do with Papua New Guinea. And they're the same teams. They play 3 games, but they get ugly. The people here get ugly, don't
Yes,
they?
it's a potential for violence in the city. It's called the State of Origin game.
Okay.
Sort of like what we would think of in American football as not the Super Bowl, but the All-Star game.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But it's
But
a big deal here. People
I know.
really get
It's
into
like
it.
seriously, it's a potential for danger. So Pastor Matt said no, that nobody could leave the property because of
That's
safety
more
reasons.
liquor flowing
Yeah,
around the
lots
city
of liquor,
tonight.
yeah, and
things,
violence and
so.
things. So it's like, okay, all right, no
But yeah,
worries.
it's interesting that something happening.
In
Not even in this
I know, in
country. It's
Australia,
like, sorry, you can't go there tonight.
Right. Yeah,
So-
you have to you have to stay. You got to stay here. That was surprising to me that,
Sure.
that a game would do that. Next, I would say, interestingly enough, and I don't know why this happens because time is time, but time moves so slowly here. I will look at my watch. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's only 7:30, and it feels like 10. I'm like, that's good. I'm glad. Mm-hmm. And I love that about it. Mm-hmm. But everything, and I figured it out. I think I figured it out. Life is contained within these acres, these few acres of property. And everything outside of that, we don't go outside of the gate very often. And when we do, it's a happening. That's for sure. It's a happening. Yeah. But time moves so slowly here. Everything's very simple. It's right here on the same property, and this small space. And so, yeah, that has surprised me. Okay. I told Sarah the other day. I've told her several times actually. It does not feel like I'm in a third world country. Right here on the campus of SPIA and Capital City Baptist Church. This auditorium. It does not feel like a third world country. It does not at all. But you go outside of the gate and it's a third world country. Absolutely. But there's such safety here and such beauty here in this space. I just absolutely love it. Something else that has surprised me. Actually, it's convicted me. It really has. It's convicted me. I think I'll do some things differently when I get home. But they don't waste anything. You all don't waste anything.
Try not to.
Yeah, that's true. You don't. I mean, for example, we were looking for 3x5 cards to, for the trauma stuff, for the lights, because I wanted to write, scene 3, 100%, light 1, 100%, whatever, all kinds of different cue cards for Sarah. And so I'm like, where are the 3x5 cards? She's like, well, they're right there. And I'm like, no, they're not. There's names of countries on the back of them. Like, she had written little names of something like flashcards. And like, these have stuff on them. She's like, no, we use both sides. It's like, duh. We use both sides. Oh my goodness. Ziploc bags. I'm like,
they're like valuable here.
They're very valuable here. I'm like, goodness gracious. And we had to buy a bunch of them to put our stuff in when we packed. And I'm like, fixing to throw them away because we don't need them because we've used the things in our suitcase. And like, no, don't throw them away. Don't throw them away. We want those. Please give us those. And I was like, oh, okay. Just today, we're washing a Ziploc bag. Mm-hmm. We are washing a Ziploc bag, a gallon-sized Ziploc bag. They don't waste anything.
Now, if we put meat in it or something,
you got to throw it away. You got to throw it away.
But too, a lot of times too, we put everything in Ziploc bags, even in our counter, so bugs don't get into it and stuff.
Ants.
So, bugs. Ants.
Hooray for ants.
Yes.
Well, and I've noticed too that I'll just throw your leftovers in the garbage. Whatever you don't need, just put it in the garbage. Whatever's left in the pans, put in the garbage. They don't do that. Oh my goodness. It gets put in a container and put in the refrigerator for lunch tomorrow, or for a snack. I mean, we ate leftovers all week long for our lunch. We had oatmeal. Was it yesterday? And there was one
I'm still not sure. I might give it. I might abandon that oatmeal.
I'm not sure about that, but we saved it. We saved it just in case. And so they don't waste anything. And water. Oh my goodness, they don't waste.
Well, it's a process to get water here.
Water's hard to get.
And it has to be trucked in. We have rain tanks and things, but where we are specifically, you think of Papua New Guinea, you think of tropical rainforest, which it is. But where we are specifically, we're kind of like in this no rain zone. And so we don't get that much rain. And so water has to be trucked in, which is a process to get it here. So we try to be careful with it.
Yeah, we are careful. The showers, there's a little bit of drip. I'm like, I'm not going to waste all the hot water just on me. There's 5 people in our house. And I'm like, just a little bit of trickle. That's all I need. I'm good. So that's one of those things. It's interesting. One of the things that had surprised me yesterday, we had to pay to go to the bathroom. I know. We were in this.
It's worth it. It's clean.
Yes, it was very clean, very, very clean. Tukina, right?
Yes.
Tukina. Sarah paid for us to go to the bathroom yesterday. Oh, we were so thankful.
I took you to Dirty Kitchen and I paid for you to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
I'm a host.
I was like,
right
okay,
there.
all right. You have to pay to go. And I forgot the ticket to show it. I got the ticket to prove it. They call it a toilet, don't they?
Yes,
they call it a toilet.
So you had your VIP toilet pass.
I know, that's exactly what it was. I was like, oh my goodness. I cannot believe, we were just laughing the whole time. I cannot believe we're paying money to go to the bathroom. But it was so great. It was fun. It was a happening. I'm like, oh yeah, we stay in there a little bit extra, wash your hands a little bit longer to use up their water. But anyhow, something else that has surprised me is the focus here is not on media, on entertainment. It's all about communication. I haven't watched a thing in the world except a YouTube video. I watched our YouTube video, but I'm thinking, no TV shows or.
No, we haven't.
And that's not bad. It's available through, the internet and things like that. But there's so much communication. It's all about relationships and communication. And you don't sit in front of a television and eat your supper. I know I do it too. My halo's way off. But you sit around the table and you talk and you eat and you talk and you eat. There's lots of communication going on. Games, board games, things like singing. Lots of everywhere we go, they're singing.
Yes.
Everywhere we go, every gathering, it seems like every gathering there's singing of some kind. And so the focus is communication and not entertainment. And that has surprised me. I don't know why it has, but it has.
It's just different, and it's something I notice even when I go back to the States. Of course, I get to be with my family, and I love that and all, but just that communication, such great lengths of communication with people.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get out of church, and I'm in the States, we'll get out of church, and let's go to Walmart, or let's do this, and that's just not my mindset now. I'm just used to sitting and talking for hours and being okay with that.
That's surprising. It's a wonderful thing, but I was like, oh wow, okay, we're not going to sit down and watch a show. We're going to talk. We're going to debrief all this stuff and pray for people. And was she here? Was he here? It's fantastic. What did you learn from this? What did you get from this? I love that. Those are just things that have surprised me. And just a little list of some things that.
Sure.
Oh wow, that was interesting. I'll have more, I'm sure, but that's just what surprised me so far.
Yeah. So I know coming here wasn't an easy thing to do. The whole process of getting
here. It was not.
Right?
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. And I know I talked to you a couple weeks ago. Look, you got to do this. No joke. And I'll talk about it later in another episode. But you have to do this. It is fantastic. You have to do this. But no, it wasn't an easy process. It wasn't horrid. It wasn't, oh my word, I'll never do that again.
And you saw God through each step
Yes, I
of the
saw
process.
God through every single step of it. But yeah, it was difficult. Yeah, it was difficult.
But now you're here.
Yes.
Praise God, you're
Yes,
here.
I
It's
know. I'm so
awesome. We're
excited.
loving it.
I know.
But now that you're here, what have been some of the more difficult things for you since you've been here?
Since I've been here.
Because you got to be honest, right?
Yes,
You can't tell
I'll be
the good. You
straight.
have to-
I'll be straight.
Yeah,
I'll be
you have to
straight. Yes.
honest.
Something difficult that it was more. It's more of a frustration for me is the random jumps in language.
I know what you're gonna say.
Seriously, to other languages, I do. I'm just like, they're all talking in English, and they talk in English all over the place here. But then all of a sudden it'll be blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what? I'm sorry. Well,
Or even Pastor Matt when he's preaching.
oh
He did it this morning.
He did. I'm like, I leaned over. Oh my goodness! Every time I lean over, I'm like, what did he say? What did he say? And even the songs and stuff. They do some Motu songs and some Pidgin songs, and I'm like, what does that mean? What did they say? And I'll be talking to someone here at the church, and they'll be asking me questions. No joke. I'll look at Sarah, and I'm like, what did he say? I do every time, because I'm like, and they could be speaking in English, okay? They could, but I don't understand. Right, I don't understand it. And so I'll look at her, or I looked at Brother John the other day. A sweet man was talking to me, asking me questions, and I just looked at Brother John, I'm like, I don't know what he just said. Can you tell me what he just said? And it wasn't, he was speaking Pidgin or Khmer or anything. I just couldn't understand. But they'll be, preaching, they'll be talking to each other. Oh, that drives me nuts. They'll be talking to each other, and then all of a sudden,
I've never done that, have I?
Yes, you did. You did. Oh my goodness, you did.
I'm so guilty.
Yes, you are so guilty. We'll be talking, and she'll break out in Pidgin, right?
Yes, Pidgin.
Yeah, the Pidgin language, and I'll be like, "Stop! I do not know what you're saying. I do not know what that means." I'm like, "You could be saying anything in the world, and I have no clue what you're saying." And sometimes she translates, and sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes she just leaves me hanging on it. But so that's been interesting. That's been something difficult to get used to, but I'm learning. I am learning just to ask somebody, what did they just say? When Pastor, he'll be saying something, and he'll go into the Pidgin language, and the whole congregation will laugh, and I'm just sitting there like, what? What was that all about? So I ask her, and then I'm a delayed laugher, So then everybody's done laughing, and so then so that's been interesting to adjust to. The internet going out, that has been.
Praise the Lord, we have internet.
Yes, we do. We have internet, especially at her house. We have it here at the school. It's a little bit spotty, but that's all right. That's all right. The Lord's been good, but it's been frustrating because I've wanted to contact my family and things like that, and I'll be in a call to them, and the internet will drop.
And it seems like that the classroom I've been teaching in has the worst internet in the
Yeah,
building.
I know. Well, the power outages, PNG power, it goes off all the time. Like, I'm shocked that it hasn't gone out since we've been sitting here. And if it does, oh well, we'll just keep going with it. Yeah, we didn't think about that, did we? We didn't think about that. And but they've got generators.
It's so much of an issue that for this drama, they didn't want that to happen because it happened. Did it happen during some of the practices?
Yes, it did.
Or yes.
Yeah.
And so
Church.
when
It
we
happened in
came
church.
in church last Sunday, it happened. And so when it came up to the drama this weekend, there was such a strong gospel presentation. We
Yes.
didn't want anything to distract from that somehow they were able to do it and just automatically go straight to generator.
Yeah,
So that no
yeah.
matter what PNG Power did, we were on generator. the
Well,
whole time.
because it takes so many seconds for the generator to catch on, to cut on, and then all the stuff has to boot up, and then
when the PNG
Power
Power comes
comes
back
back on,
on,
yeah.
the generator has to go off, and then,
and then
it has
there's
to go. So it's a process.
that's been interesting, but it doesn't phase them. It doesn't phase them.
Well, that's one thing you said, right? Like the kids in the classroom when it
Yeah,
goes
they're
out,
like, no big deal. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, the power's off. They're just sitting there. Okay, keep talking, Miss Tab. Keep talking. We good. No worries. About 5 seconds, 8 seconds later, something like that. The generators kick on.
Oh, I know it was when we were showing the film to the drama club.
Oh yeah, the drama club film, everything went off. And another couple things to adjust to is you don't just run anywhere, anytime. It's an act of Congress. It's a happening. It is. It's a happening.
It is.
I mean, there is a really nice store down the road. Adai, is that what it's called? And but you radio the gate to leave. You radio the gate guys to come back.
You got to find out if there's a car available.
Find out if there's a car available. You don't just run to the McDonald's. There is no McDonald's. You don't just run to the Sonic to get a shake. There is no Sonic.
I like Sonic.
Yeah, I know you do. Because you like the shakes, don't you? There's no Walmart around here. There's some, things in their mall and things like that. But it's a happening to do it, and you can't go at night. Things like so. That's been an adjustment, And so, like we were sitting up there a few minutes ago, we're like, man, what are we talking about?
Popcorn.
We wanted some popcorn. We're out of popcorn, and Sarah's like, let's just run to a dive. I'm like, it's going to be dangerous. I don't think we should, And she's like, that's not till dark time. We've got a little bit of time, and so we might just run to a dive, but we got to tell people and get this, that, and the other. So you don't just run somewhere to do something. That's been interesting. And then I've already talked to you about the importance of water. That's been an interesting adjustment. No worries. But instead of your usual 10-minute shower, it's 3 because you don't want to waste the water. You get in there, do what you got to do, and get out, so you don't waste the water. So, but yeah, so there's just some of the things that have been interesting. Not hard. It's not been hard, but interesting to get adjusted to in the last couple weeks. Sure. So yeah.
Well, hey, great job on those questions.
I did good. All right, did I pass? I get an A+.
You get an A+.
I get an A+.
100% A+.
Good. I like that.
It's just been awesome this last
It's
week.
been fun, hasn't it?
It has. This next week we get to switch gears a little bit.
Yes, we do.
The South Pacific International Academy is on term break now, and so they'll be out for the next 2 weeks. So now you've been helping me minister and work well the last few weeks.
Yep,
We've been able to do that together. Now you get to help me do what is sometimes almost harder than work for me, and that is to rest. And so we'll be resting some this week.
And
just
we've got
enjoying
some things. We're going to go
some things planned.
to a church. The church that we didn't get to go to tonight, we get to go to that on Wednesday, hopefully, Lord willing. We get to take, we're going out to eat or something. We get to do some things. Yeah, spend some time with Pastor. And so we get to do some things, and we're going to rest a little bit.
It's going to be a good week.
Yeah, it's going to be a good week. And I'll Lord willing.
And we'll take that box every day and dump it over, get everything out of it.
Yeah, get everything out of it that we can. Because that's what we do. It's just what we do. I want you to do that too. Something that I've taken great comfort in, just enjoying every single moment. Every moment. You won't have that moment again. And instead of, reaching back to those or reaching forward too far, just enjoy where you are right now. And that's not just for us. That's not just for me. That's not just for Sarah. That's for you too. Take this moment today and soak everything you can out of it. Enjoy every single piece of it that you can. And so yeah, that's something amazing that we've gone through. Thank you for joining us for another PNG update. I'm so excited that you're watching them. We're so honored. Thank you for praying for us. Continue to, please, as we wrap all of this up. Don't forget, Lydia at 11 in her journey to remain cancer-free. Now go be amazing today.